What is going on? My name is Andrew, and welcome to Classic Friday, a day in which I post a classic COD as the gameplay instead of a Black Ops 2 gameplay. So, as you can see, this is MW3 on the map Hardhat. This is a Moab. After not playing MW3 for like 4 months, I get this Moab. It's a little slow than I like playing, but that's mainly due to the long layoff between having not played Modern Warfare 3 and also I was playing with a couple buddies of mine who I've only really recently started playing with, mainly Black Ops 2, and I had never played MW3 with these guys, and so I was more cautious in not knowing how they would play this game. Now, personally, I love the specialist, I love the sound, sit rep, but I hated the death streaks. Luckily, I'm able to avoid those in this gameplay and pick up the Moab, although I was a little cautious because I hadn't been on that kind of a streak where I was going to get a Moab in a while, so I played pretty conservatively. But if I were to pick up the game again and play regularly, I think I would play at a faster pace, like I used to then and in this gameplay. Now, today's topic, what we're going to be talking about is NCAA athletes and indentured servitude. I pose this question because I think that the NCAA faces a future legal problem. And for those of you who don't know, the NCAA is the governing body of college athletics in the United States of America, where I live. And if you're a European or Australian or somebody else, I'm sorry if this doesn't necessarily apply to you. But if you come to the U.S. to go to college, this might apply, particularly if you will be playing in athletics. Now, college athletes cannot earn a salary. They cannot be paid to play a sport. The families cannot be paid while they are a member of the university, and they cannot get money from autographs, pictures, or anything like that. And not all of them are getting a free education. Some of them, only a few of them, will have a full college expenses paid for. Some might have partial expenses paid for, and then particularly those in smaller programs may, or who aren't very good but still good enough to play in college, may have to pay the entirety expenses of the college expenses out of pocket. So they're on the hook for the money. And I think that the NCAA rules on college athletes, I think, is going to get them in trouble, particularly if someone ever wanted to push the issue in the courts. Because I'll give you the definition of an indentured servant. An indentured servant is a person who is bonded or contracted to work for another for a specific time in exchange for a trade or for travel expenses. Now, these NCAA athletes, particularly those who are in a major sport, American sport such as American football or basketball, their programs earn a lot of money off of the success of the program. So the success of the athletes enables the university to raise more money through ticket sales and through donations to the university. And so the program earns money. Now, a lot of college athletes, particularly in basketball and American football, they come from poorer backgrounds or middle class backgrounds. And so the expense of living at college can be a tremendous burden on your family. And we've seen a lot of examples where athletes have gotten in trouble from taking money because they need it and their families need it. And also the fact that if they may not have the prospect of a long future professional career in which they're going to make money, or they may be a bust at the professional level and not really earn any money. And so these athletes have this pressure to balance going to school versus becoming professional. Now, I think the reason why the NCAA says that you cannot earn a salary is to keep the athlete's amateur status. Now, I think this only applies to sports in which college athletes are then able to go and play in the participate in the Olympics. But professional athletes' participation in the Olympics kind of throws a skew into this logic. Because if we look at basketball, how many members of the NBA play in the Olympics, and yet they continue to receive a salary and compensation for playing in the NBA, yet they can participate in the Olympics. And I think that the NCAA has a major issue in that you can make the legal argument that learning how to be an American football player is learning a trade that you can then use at the National Football League, the Canadian Football League, or the Arena Football League. So I think you can make the legal argument that by not enabling you to receive salary or to receive money for your own likeness, which is your picture, your autograph, stuff like that, I think that you're running into a major future legal battle if someone wants to push the issue. Now, the argument is made that, well, they're giving you a free college education, again, asterisk in some instances, and so, therefore, they do not qualify as indentured servants and therefore do not meet the legal requirements. But I would point out that not everyone receives a full scholarship or even a partial scholarship. And although most do, not everyone does. And also, indentured servants were given, essentially part of their indenturedness was paying for either the travel expenses and then the continued room and board of them, the eating expenses, the housing, that kind of thing. And so when looking at the NCAA, well, yeah, they're paying to have you get a college education and for your room and board, but you cannot profit from your own image. You cannot profit from the fact that your program received over $100 million in revenue. And it throws up, in my opinion, a lot of red flags with the legal system. And I think that if you wanted to make the case in the courts that you have a very strong case of saying, look, these athletes are being taken advantage of, particularly the poorer athletes. And, I think that they need to really consider making some changes to the regulation on the athletes. I think that they could go to one of two things. One would be a percentage revenue sharing agreement that wouldn't go directly to the athlete right away, but instead would go into a trust fund that would be then given to the athlete after they either A, left school, either through graduation or going to the professional level, or B, could no longer compete in college athletics due to injury. And so they would be given a percentage of the revenue that a program earns every year after it's determined how much that program earned. Excuse me. Now, that one poses some problems because some programs don't earn a profit on those sports, and they actually only make a profit because either the school makes more money through other areas, or the boosters' donations end up paying for it, covering the cost to maintain the athletic program. But the other thing I think is to make college athletes eligible to make money off of the likeness. Now that is to sign autographs, sign pictures, display pictures of themselves for sale, called memorabilia. Sell your memorabilia to earn a profit, because for a lot of athletes, you're only profitable while you're in college because they may be a bust at the pro level, or they may not be have a long professional career, or whatever sport it is doesn't necessarily pay a lot. I'm looking at things like Major League Lacrosse, for example. I don't think those guys get multi-million-dollar contracts like they do in the NFL. So, what do you guys think? Do you think that's an accurate interpretation of college athletes? Do you think that there needs to be a change made to the NCAA's rules on receiving compensation for being a college athlete of some kind? So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time.